Hello and welcome, everybody. Yes, thank you very much for your patience. Really glad to have all of you here today. Apologies for some of the technical. Apologies for some of the technical issues. Okay, so sorry, Adam. Apologies for that. A few technical issues, guys, but glad to have everybody here. Welcome to this live Employers Masterclass session from the Changing Education Group. My name's Amos Madra. I'm a careers advisor here at Changing Education, and this is a great opportunity for you to get a live experience from an employer about their world of work, and they can tell you about the things that they get up to. And I've got someone really interesting here for you today. You guys are going to absolutely love this. My guest is Adam Corbally. That's right, Adam Corbally from The Apprentice, the TV show, if you remember the one on BBC One. Let me just tell you a little bit about Adam. Adam started his speaking professionally career in 2012 after he reached the final in season 8 of the hit TV show The Apprentice, and very soon after became a member of the Professional Speakers Association. Adam's keynote presentation focuses on his story when he left school and home at the age of 16 with no qualifications. Adam has delivered, now this is incredible, he's delivered his keynote motivational speech at some amazing venues, including the Lowry Theatre, the Tower of London, ICC, NEC and Macron Arena, to host different businesses, along with motivating 500 schools, colleges and universities all over the UK to over 100,000 people. How incredible is that? Adam, a very warm welcome to you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's Adam. It's an absolute honor to have you here on our live masterclass session today. Again, just some of the people that you've had the opportunity to speak to. We're privileged to have you here speaking to our students. Guys, please get your questions into Adam. We've got a fantastic guest here with us today, so we'd love to get your questions into Adam. We're monitoring all your comments, so please make sure you get your questions in. We're here. I can see already we've got a thumbs up from Tom. Tom, glad to have you on board. So please, guys, get your questions in. If you're getting your questions in via LinkedIn, the hashtag is Inspire Future Leaders. So again, Adam, thank you for joining us here for our live masterclass session. But tell us your story. Tell us, your journey. How did you become the Adam Corbally that we all know today?
Wow, I mean, where to start, Amos, I suppose. As you had said in the introduction, then I left home at 16. I was a bit of a rebel without a cause. I had a shaky start in life. I had no qualifications, which immediately came back to haunt me. Whenever I speak for young people, they always come out and say, well, you've done all right, Adam, and you had no qualifications. But honestly, guys, seriously, now's the time to get them. I had to go back in later life and get them. And now I've got a lot more responsibilities. I've got 4 teenage kids myself. So it's a lot harder to do all that later on in life than it is now. From there, I mean, wow, I ended up doing about 30 different dead-end jobs until I found what I really wanted to do. And my passion was entrepreneurship. So I set up my first ever business down my local market, selling fruit and veg, come on now, rainy day prices, all that, getting people over just like you see on the television, the old style fruit and veg stall. And from there, I always had a vision it could be so much bigger. So I grew it into a wholesale business. When we started selling to cafes, pubs, restaurants, I even started selling to my old secondary school. From there, we got massive contracts for pretty much every school in the Northwest. And I started selling Christmas trees. I started importing Christmas trees. Then I started off investing in property, which I know a lot of young people are interested in. Everybody says to me, I want to get into real estate. This is what they say. I want to get into real estate to get money working for you. And I get that. But first of all, we've got to earn the money. And this is what I always say to young people. I can advise people on how to get money working for them. But first of all, you've got to earn that money, so that has to come first. I went into property, and then I went on a very well-known BBC One TV show where everyone runs around looking like an idiot. Yeah. But although it weren't The Apprentice, Amos, it was actually Total Wipeout. You know,
fantastic. How far did you get with that?
I got to the final on that as well, mate. And then I fell at the final hurdle on that. I mean, there's a pattern emerging here. I've always sort of like gone for it and you know, just thought, just get rid of everybody that says you can't do it. Have a go. But then I've always sort of fallen at that final hurdle. So, yeah, I went on Total Wipeout. I went on it twice because I came runner-up. I missed out on 10 grand by 10 seconds. And I came second. And then I got invited back for the Champion of Champions edition. And I went on that. And I got to the final on that. And I failed on that as well. But do you know what? There's no such thing as failing, because every experience I put myself out there for, I built my confidence, I built my self-esteem. From there, I built the confidence to go on the television show The Apprentice. I went on to The Apprentice. I did really well on that, got to the final, fell at the final hurdle on that. Just missed out on the £250,000 cash injection from Lord Sugar, and obviously the business partnership and mentorship. But do you know what? I've got no regrets. Keep putting yourself out there. This is what I always say to young people. Keep creating as many opportunities as you can. My life was pretty much a disaster until I learned to ask for help. Asking for help was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Asking for help was better than starting my own business. It was better than getting an education. Asking for help, honestly, guys, really, really, really helped me. And it was crazy because all my life I was offered help all through school. I was offered help from brilliant teachers. My parents were always offering me help, and I always threw it back in the face. And then eventually, when I asked for help, it was the best thing I ever did. And I learned so much from mentors. Guys like yourself, Amos, you know, careers advisor, someone who's dedicated their life really to helping young people. And as I say, I've got 4 teenagers myself. And I always say to them, ask for help, ask for advice, ask questions, you know, all the time, ask questions, because I think the biggest challenge for young people a lot of the time is they don't know what they want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel bad for that, but make sure you ask questions, because if you're not asking questions and you're not trying things and you're not taking action, you're not making things happen, how will you ever know what you want to do? I still don't really know what I want to do, Amos. I'm 41 now. Do you know what I mean?
You don't look it.
No, thanks, mate. I think as long as you're trying things and you're putting yourself out there, that's the main thing for me.
Fantastic. Adam, what a great introduction to your whole life story. Just from that, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but I think I'm going to leave the main questions to our audience. And lots of you, I can see already, there's so many questions coming in. Guys, we will endeavor to get all your questions answered today, okay? So...
away, please do ask me anything. I'm a completely open book, and I always say the only silly question is one you don't ask. So seriously, guys, throw me any curveballs, I'm all yours. Fire away.
You've heard it there. The only silly questions, the ones that you don't ask. So make sure you get your questions in. Okay. So I can see there's a lot of questions coming in, but I just want to go back to the point that you made, you know, going on Total Wipeout. That was a great experience for you because you learned so much. You built your confidence with that. And then you learned to start asking questions, which was, I assume, later on in life. Now, you come across to me as someone who's very inspirational. Well, you are very inspirational, but who's very positive, who's got that can-do attitude. Now, was that something that was always there? Were you always that type of person?
No.
And at what point did you realize that, wait, hang on a minute, when did that switch come?
I'm really, really glad you asked me that, Amos. And Total Wipeout is a great example of how my life kind of turned around and kind of changed. Now, Total Wipeout was my favourite show, and it was everyone's favourite show. Everyone watched it. All the family could sit together and watch that show. It was brilliant. It was fun. It was funny. And you know what? I'd meet up with my mates every weekend. Every weekend I'd meet up with my mates. And all my mates would say, I'm going to go on that show. I'd be fantastic. I'd do this. I could do the big red balls. I'd win the 10 grand. It's filmed over in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So there's so many reasons to go on this. All right. So many reasons to go on this. And eventually I went on it. And I always ask the question, what was the difference between all my friends and me? I applied. Seriously, I was saying in life there's three types of people. People that make things happen, people that watch things happen, and people who think, what on earth just happened? And I was sick, Amos, of being one of them people who thought, what on earth just happened? Do you know what I mean? Or watching things happen and thinking, it's all right for them. They're dead lucky. Look at them. You've just got to think, you know what? Sack it. Just go out there. Don't be worried about what anyone else is going to think. And just go for it. We're only here once. We're only here once. It's not a dress rehearsal list. You know what I mean? We've got one shot. And especially with the time we've just lost and everything else that's been going on, that for me is even bigger push. Just make things happen. I know a lot of people talk about a 5-year plan, and that's great if you've got one. But honestly, for young people, I always talk about a 5-minute plan. 5-minute plan. It's 2021. If you want to do something, do it in 5 minutes. Change your life in 5 minutes. It's 2021. Get on your smartphone, get access to the internet, and apply for that football team. Ask out that girl who you really fancy, or ask out that guy, or do you know what? Audition for that play, or apply for your favorite game show. Apply for the college you think you might never get into. Apply for the university, even though no one from your road or your estate or maybe even your family has ever been to university. You've just got to go for it, seriously, and just make things happen. And what's the worst that can happen? That's the way you've got to think. And, you know, that was a big moment for me, Amos, when I put myself out there. I was scared of looking silly. I did look silly. I fell off big red balls into water head first. But do you know what? I had so much fun, mate. I had so much fun. And not only that, that started a chain reaction, really, honestly. I know that sounds far-fetched, but it started a chain reaction of opportunities. And I just never looked back, mate. Never looked back.
That's a fantastic outlook on life. It's very philosophical. But you can see from that experience, that's changed your whole life and everything that you've gone through. You know, just taking a chance, taking massive action, you know, like you said, you know, a 5-minute plan. Don't worry about that 5-year plan. So guys, a 5-minute plan, you know, what is that 5-minute plan? What's that thing that you've wanted to do that you've not done? So you've heard it from Adam.
Yeah. Honestly, the people that like I was spending time with at the time who wanted to go on the show also, they weren't the best people, if I'm honest. They were sort of, you know, oh, you'll never get on that. Oh, you're trying out for that team. You can't kick a ball straight. Oh, you ask, they don't know who you are. You know, I always say you become a reflection of the people you spend the most time with. And it's so true. And young people ask me the question all the time. They say, Adam, what's my life going to be like in 5 years, 10 years? And the answer is dead simple. You'll be a reflection of the people you spend the most time with. So after, you know, I went on total wipeout and I started having fun. And then I started spending time with better people, really. People that said, you know, oh, you're looking well. Oh, yeah, you could go on that. Brilliant. Yeah, why don't you go on that? In fact, I know a guy who might be able to help. You know, you become a reflection of the people you're with. I always say to people, don't break friends with anybody after this call, all right? Don't do that. But actually have a little think about who your 4 people are, who you spend time with. And you know what? Deep down, if they don't bring out the best version of you and they haven't got your best interests at heart, simply spend a little bit less time with them people. Because when I did that, my life went from down here to up here. Seriously.
So the people that you keep around you is really important, you know, because that tells you what your future is going to look like. Wow. So let's get into the questions here. We've got a few coming in already. Guys, again, get your questions in. We'll do the best we can to try and answer all your questions. Well, Adam will. So I'll just ask the questions. So Emily wants to know, what is your top career advice? What would you say to Emily?
Top career advice. Wow, that's a broad question.
It is. Really what would you say to Emily? How would you narrow her question?
Is this all year 11s, Amos?
We've got year 11s. We've got some college students as well. So we've got a mix of students here with us today.
Yeah. So I'd say profession-wise, try as many things now. I'd say you guys are so young and there's so much opportunity there for you. I'd say at this stage, try as many things as you literally can. Try as many things. Even the things you think you might not like, have a go at them as well. Because for me, opportunity always comes from the strangest places you would never, ever expect. So if you like something and you're studying for it, go and have a go as well. Do you know what I mean? Go and get as much hands-on as you can. Seriously. And what I mean by that is, I mean, internship, volunteering. You know, I've just done a video for you guys, Amos. And one of my things was, you know, when you go for an interview for an opportunity, whether that's a job or college course or whatever, at the end of the interview, ask the question, please, can I come in next week and see what it's all about? Please, can I come in and work for your organization for a week, or come to the college for a week, or come to an open day? Get as many hands-on physical experiences as you can. And that will put you in a better mindset of what you want to do. Because when you find that passion, that's when you'll really, really succeed. And that's what my life's been about. You know, I've done 20 different businesses in 20 different industries. And the ones I've done the best at, I've been the most passionate about. So my advice to everyone on the call really is realize how young you are, realize how much potential you've got, realize how much opportunity there is out there, and try as many things as possible. Don't get your heart set on one thing, yeah? And even if something doesn't work out, think about something else. You know, when I was young, my grandparents, my grandma was a nurse and my granddad worked for the water board. That was what it was like back then. You'd have one profession your whole life. That was it, seriously. Now I talk about portfolio careers. So I've got a portfolio career. You know, I'm a speaker, I'm a business coach, I'm a property investor. I host enterprise days, I speak a lot in education. I do loads of different things. And also my partner as well, Jolene, she works at Next, the retailer. She works at Iceland. She's also a firefighter. I think that's a smart move now, you know, be involved in a few different things. And absolutely, if you've got a great career, always look for that side hustle as well. So if you go, you know, if you want to get something that's going to bring on the bacon and you've got that in your back pocket, then that's great. But also have a passion on the side as well. Always have a couple of things going. It was a broad question, so it's a very broad answer for you, Emily. And I hope that answered your question. But you can all guys.
It does. Gis, I think that answers Gis's question as well. Because Gis was asking in terms of, you know, what career did you choose at the age of 16? But you're very versatile in terms of all the different things that you do. You know, you're very entrepreneurial. You've got other businesses. It's not just one thing. When you were 16, did you know you were going to do this, or did you have something else in mind?
Wow, at 16, I had no clue what I was going to do, Amos. No clue at all. At 16, I was in quite a bad place. I got chucked out at 16. I didn't listen to anybody at 16. I was a silly boy. And it very quickly caught up with me. Very quickly. I spent the next 3 years wasting my life, really, going from dead-end job to dead-end job to dead-end job. And then, as I say, eventually I learned to ask for help. And as soon as I learned to ask for help and started getting an education and started believing in myself, that's what set me off on my personal entrepreneurial journey. And since then, I never looked back, you know, never looked back.
Was it difficult to ask for help initially?
It was, for me, it wasn't, you know, really the thing you did back then. I love the fact that now it's promoted to ask for help. It's promoted to say you need help, or maybe you're not okay, you know, on an emotional level as well as a physical level. You know, when I was a kid, you only ever talked about physical health. You never talked about mental health. So I think just asking for help really was massive for me. I do a lot of work promoting apprenticeships, and I always think, honestly, please have a look at apprenticeships. There's so much opportunity there. There really, really is. The degree level apprenticeships, I'm very, very impressed by. And I just think they're a great opportunity for all young people, because obviously you're learning, so you're getting the credentials, yeah, you're getting them academics. but you're learning hands-on from somebody who might have devoted their life to that industry. And this is the best bit for you guys, the bit young people always love, you learn some money as well. And it's not just about earning money, it's about then being smart with the money, learning your money skills. All right, so learn your money skills. And what I mean by that is, don't blow it all on anything. Start investing it and look for ways that money can work for you. Because obviously work is about swapping your time for money. And then when you've got that, you just get your money and invest that and get your money working for you.
No, that's good advice there. Get money working for you. You guys have heard it here. So Atif has asked a great question here. You're like a superhero, so I can imagine you've got lots of strengths. But Atif wants to know, what is your greatest strength?
My greatest strength, I would say, is probably getting on with people. I like to class myself as a great friend. I like to say that I've got a lot of friends from a lot of different walks of life. And I honestly think, today's about education, and education is so important. But attitude is more important. Attitude is everything. The ability to get on with people will create more opportunities for you than anything in life. And I would probably say, I've never been asked that question before, Asif. I think that's a great question, by the way. I would say, yeah, my best skill, my superpower, if you like, if you want to call it that, is being able to get on with people. Because it's nice to be nice. It's nice to take an interest in who people are, what their story is, because everybody's got a story. It's nice to listen. And, again, I'd say, yeah, I'm educated now. Yeah, I've studied, I've got skill sets, I've got knowledge. But absolutely, attitude is still the number one thing that is making me good friendships and good work relationships as well. So I'd say, number one, have a good attitude. And in that, I mean, be one of them 4 people that you'd want to spend time with, someone that brings out the best in other people.
Yeah. Be a people person, definitely goes a long way. Yeah, guys, keep your questions coming in. We are monitoring your comments, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. We're watching all the comments here. There's lots of good questions coming in. Is there anything that you would have done differently? Mohammed wants to know.
I always say no regrets, Mohammed. I always say no regrets. With hindsight, if I could go back in time, I've got my Back to the Future cup here, actually. If I could go back to the future, Mohammed, maybe I would have done a couple of things different. But do you know what? Tomorrow's gone. So seriously, I wouldn't worry about yesterday. That would be a complete waste of time and completely ineffective. I'm happy with the way things have panned out. A piece of advice I always give to young people is, when something goes wrong, and it often goes wrong in my life, please don't look at me and think I've got everything worked out, or I'm the perfect guy, because I'm absolutely not by a mile. But you always have to think, when something does go completely wrong, it's always part of a bigger picture. It's always part of the bigger journey, and I can remember being so young and things went wrong and really stressing about it, thinking this is going to be the end of the world. But actually, it's just life getting you ready for something else. And I always say, put things into perspective and be realistic about things. And a lot of the time, I sort of have a vision of myself zooming out off the planet, zooming out like the Mars spaceship the other day, and looking down on that moment and just seeing how insignificant it is. So yeah, I've had my fair share of disasters, Mohammed. I've had loads. I really, really have. But actually, I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't, because if you start changing one thing, then another thing's changed. You've probably seen the Butterfly Effect, the movie. Before you know it, it's chaos, and you're worse than when you started off. So no regrets, no. And hopefully you guys don't have no regrets either, seriously.
You mentioned something there about visualization. Why is that so important?
For me, it's a really good way of coping and really good way of putting things into perspective. So what I'm saying with that is, sometimes when you're in the moment, you can let little things get on top of you, and then something goes wrong and it can just seem like the end of the world. So 2 massive things I've learned personally, which is ask for help. It's weird at Amos how this keeps coming back up, asking for help. You know, if something does go completely wrong, ask for help. You'd be surprised. Somebody will be able to help you and probably be able to relate to what you're going through. And also that zooming out, that visualization thing, it just helps put things into perspective. You know, will this thing matter in 1 week? Will it matter in 1 month? Will it matter in 1 year? No, it won't. You'll probably be sat here laughing about it now, just like I am with the amount of disasters I've had in my life. So if things don't go wrong, honestly, don't worry about it. It's always part of a bigger plan.
Let's see, we've got lots more again coming here. Katie wants to know, what was some of the most difficult decisions you had to make? And what outcome was the outcome?
Wow. I mean, life is a series of decisions, isn't it? You know, and they're all big to you at that time. For me personally, I think decision-wise, it's hard to give up on a business when you've already given it so much time and money, you know, and I think it's head and heart. Head and heart is a big one for me, decision-wise. As a property investor and somebody who started off in property, very quickly, I end up in a one-bedroom council flat. And from there, I turned that into a property portfolio that helps me sleep at night and will help my future generations be comfortable as well. And as I grew that business, I would fall in love with a property that I wanted to buy and I wanted to let out and it'd be an investment for me. I'd fall in love with it with my heart. But if my head weren't telling me it was right, sometimes I had to walk away. You know, if the numbers didn't stack up and it wasn't right, I'd have to walk away. The same with some business deals as well. You know, maybe I've worked on a business for a while and it's took up a lot of my time, which is so much more precious than money. Your time is so much more precious and it's took so much. And then you realize it's a bit of a dead duck. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. For me, it's hard to walk away when you've put so much time into it. So it's a great question, Katie. Thanks for that. But yeah, heart and head. I always think heart and head. And you know, a lot of the time in your personal life, go with your heart. In your business life, your education, use your head. That's what I'm saying.
Go with your head. Yeah. And so you can have both. It's not just one or the other, is it?
Yeah, that goes back to finding passion, doesn't it? You know, like I said before, Amos, about finding passion, and you'll know this as a careers advisor, you know, and the work that you do. It's when you get somebody, a young person who says, this is what I want to, you know, I want to join the Navy. My granddad was in the Navy, my dad was in, and that's what I want to do. Well, brilliant, because you know that they're going to put 100% into that because they're passionate about it.
Definitely passion. You need passion, guys. You've heard that. Keep your questions coming in. Let's see what else. What else have we got? Shahan wants to know, what tips can you offer in terms of building income?
Hi, Shahan.
I think you've mentioned that already. You went into properties, didn't you? And also you've got several other businesses, the speaking business as well. So if that's something that you guys are thinking of, then maybe you could also look into that as well. So yes, guys, keep your questions coming in. And also, yeah, we've got another one here from Harsh, who's asking, I think we've already answered that one, guys. Let's see, let's move on. What's the typical day like for you? What would you know, how does Adam's day start? What happens?
Like I was saying earlier, time's the most precious thing ever. And, you know, I'm delighted now because I can spend my time however I want. And that's through working really, 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 really hard when I was younger. So now I'm older, spend my time doing what I want. So a typical day for me could be doing several things. As I say, I've got what you'd call a portfolio career now. I have different businesses that I'm involved with. But today, a typical day, I always get up early. I always get up as early as I can. So I was up at 7 o'clock today, took my dogs out. Then I went up to this garden centre with my partner. We did a click and collect and picked some stuff up. And then I've just come back. I've been working on my 2 websites today. So I've been creating some content. And now I've got the interview with you guys. But literally, I could be doing anything from one day to the next. Literally anything. For me, it's about variety. I get bored easily. I don't like doing the same thing all the time. On Thursday, I've got a full day shooting video for my new website. So I've got a friend of mine coming round, and he's got all the kit. You know, he's a videographer, and he's lighting, sound, and everything else. So yeah, I do different things all the time. What I spend most of my time doing is speaking in education. So usually I'm in colleges, schools, unis. I'm doing an enterprise day, which is in the morning, it's like The Apprentice. In the afternoon, it's like The Dragon's Den. So you guys get a shot at building a business in a day, and I teach you all about that. It's really, really effective. Some really good results for that. Some of them businesses have even gone on to become actual real businesses that are still trading to this day. And usually that's how I spend a lot of my time. So I'm very blessed now because I get to spend my time doing what I love, investing in our future, which is you guys, the next generation, you know, and I try and tell you a few things that I wish somebody had told me really when I was sort of 16 and didn't want to listen to anyone and thought I knew it all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's always giving back again, isn't it? Thinking about the next generation. That's very noble of you. You seem to be very creative as well. It looks like, you know, you found your niche, you found exactly, you know, what it is that you enjoy doing. I know that, you know, when you went through the process of the apprentice and you went through that whole program, you were still discovering who you were. Was it difficult for you to kind of to fine tune exactly what you wanted to do? So with the creative side of, for example, your websites, creating all this content, because some people are not comfortable doing that. Was that something that you always felt that you wanted to do?
It's a great question, Amos. I mean, like, as you say, then when I went on The Apprentice, that was another moment in my life when I was sat watching the television, BBC One, The Apprentice. If any of you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely check out a couple of the clips and episodes on YouTube. I'm sure you'll like it. These guys are supposed to be Britain's business elite, and I'm sat at the TV going, these guys are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. So in the end, my family turned around and said to me, Adam, you know, you think you're that good, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Why don't you go on it? So I did. You know, I made things happen. I put myself out there. I stepped out my comfort zone. And I was nervous and I was scared. But guess what? The good stuff is worth getting nervous and scared for. Yeah. It's not like you ever really stop being nervous or scared. But the more you learn to put yourself out there, that's when the cool stuff happens. That's when the good opportunities come, you know. And I jumped on a train down to London for the auditions, and I'd never been to London, Amos. I'd never been to London. And do you know what? I'd never sent an email. Seriously. I was 32 years old, mate. It's embarrassing. But I did it, you know, and I put myself out there, and I felt out my depth a lot of the days, and I learned as I went. And opportunity and experience is for me the best way to learn. So seriously, guys, anyone watching today, you're thinking about, you know, I'm going to do this, but I'd really want to do that. Well, do you know what? Have a go at that. Seriously, have a go at that, because it might not go exactly the way you want it to, but I'm sure from that, then you meet this guy and this guy really likes you. And this guy says, oh, why don't you do this? And that's the way life works. Just seriously put yourself out there and put yourself out there. And if you do that, you'll get more and more options. I always say, you know, the happiest people I know are the people with the most options. And for you guys right now, you know, the more academics you can get, the more things you can get in your back pocket, the more options you will have in your life later on. And the more options you have, the happier you will get, seriously. You know, and just have a think, when you think in your own life, the unhappy people are always the ones who go, I'm stuck in this job, I'm driving this car, I'm stuck in this town, I don't want to do this. You know, the more qualifications you can get, the more you can say, right, I'm going to go and work in France, I'm going to go and work in America. You know, Camp America, I think, is a brilliant opportunity for young people, Amos. I really do. You know, aside from sort of traditional education, I think opportunities like that are well worth doing. Hopefully all my kids are going to go and do a ski season, you know, in the winter. So on the winter break, they're going to go and do a ski season, and they're going to wait tables or chambermaid or whatever they have to do to go over there and experience a different culture, a different way of life. And who knows, when you're there, if you've got the right attitude, you might make some friends, you might get offered a job, and that's the way it works. You just put yourself out there, and honestly, don't worry about it. You've just got to go for it, seriously.
So it's all about the experiences and taking the chances that are available to you. And sometimes it's just right there in your face and you don't even realize it. But yeah, a lot of wisdom there. Thanks, Adam, for that. What is Lord Sugar like? Is he as bad as he looks on telly?
You know what? Lord Sugar wrote a book called "What You See Is What You Get," and I couldn't think of a better title for the book. He's a lovely guy. He's a fantastic guy. He started off in a council flat like me. He started off down the market like me, and he's gone on to become a billionaire. He's a lord now, so he's earned the right to speak in the House of Lords. He advises the UK government on a lot of issues in business. He gives away his fee that he receives for doing The Apprentice to Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. For me, he's a great role model. We're lucky to have him in the UK. He pays his taxes, which a lot of the big guys don't. And do you know what? He's for me, he's inspired a new generation of entrepreneurs. He really, really has, with the show and with everything he does. And I think he's a very funny guy. He's a very witty guy. He's very, very down to earth. And yeah, I think we could do with a few more Lord Sugars as well. He's a very, very good guy, mate. He really is.
So we've got a question here again. What type of apprenticeships do you recommend? I mean, there's loads of different types of apprenticeships, aren't there? So what would you say is happening at the moment?
I would say, it's up to the individual, but I would speak to your careers advisor, speak to your go-to guide to help. Check out YouTube. I just did an explainer video on YouTube for Bolton College. So if you go on Bolton College YouTube and have a look on that, there's me there doing a 10-minute video, and you'll find it really insightful rather than me going into it now. A lot of the opportunities out there, what you can do and everything else. I like the T-level apprenticeships where it's like a switch apprenticeship. So instead of 4 days out working and 1 day at college, it's 4 days at college and 1 day working. I think that's really, really cool, because a lot of young people I talk to are like, wow, Adam, I'm 16, I know I started school at 16, but that was a million years ago that, they're like, I don't really want to go out to work yet. And I get that. I totally get that. So I think the T-level apprenticeships are really, really worth a look. And I just think industry-wise, that's up to you. But honestly, I think the solicitor apprenticeship is a very, very, very good route. I really do. And I just think that makes it so open and such a level playing field for people that a couple of generations ago, that opportunity would never have been there. When I left school, the apprenticeships were basically a bricklayer or hairdresser. Both fantastic careers, do not get me wrong. But now they're just so wide. Honestly, across the industries, there's so much opportunity for that. So yeah, if you want to check out that video, Bolton College website, there's a big picture of my head, you can't miss me. and it's a 10-12 minute video, and it just sticks to the facts about apprenticeship. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you're nowhere near Bolton, because these apprenticeships are available nationwide. And I did that as part of National Apprenticeship Week, which was a big week, banging the drum for apprenticeships, which I'm very, very good. So yeah.
You're a great ambassador for apprenticeships. We've got a question from Winter, who's a creative like you. Winter's currently writing a script for a TV show, as well as starting a podcast, so very creative, as well as doing a college course as well at the same time. And what Winter wants to know is, what's your advice in terms of balancing their time effectively and as possible? What can they do in order to be effective with what they're doing?
Is it Winto? Yeah.
Winto, yeah.
Winto.
Oh, we got your name right, Winto. Yeah.
So Winto, listen, I always say, ask questions, put yourself out there. You've done that, my friend. If you want me on your podcast, just get in touch with me on social media. I'm very easy to find. It's Adam Corbally on any of the usual Instagram, Facebook, whatever works best for you. If you want me to do that, great. I love the fact that you wrote a script. I think that's fantastic. About 4 years ago, I started acting because I'm a massive film fan. So I go to acting school, and I've done a few short films. I've done a few adverts as well. So it's really, really good to hear you doing that. I myself have wrote a couple of scripts, so good for you. Time management, wow, it's hard. If you work it out, you come and tell me. I would say for me, try and block out time. Say if you've got a sort of write a script, okay? So you block out 4 hours to write that script, right? So what I mean by that is put your phone away, yeah, okay? Get rid of all the distractions and crack on. So no distractions whatsoever. And I mean literally switch your phone off. I also think when you've got a job like that to do, if you've got to be inspired to create some content, I always say, yeah, it's great getting up every morning at 7 o'clock and it's great having structure to your day. But actually, you know, when you're in the zone and when it's all coming to you, just find a laptop and start getting it down. And I mean, if it's at 12 o'clock at night, burn your midnight oil, get it done. If you're late up the next day, it doesn't really matter. I've learned that, you know, when you've got to be creative and come up with things, if it comes into your head and you'll know yourself when you get that moment, just get it down. Just get it down, regardless of what time or day, and keep going until it stops. And then, you know, if you're up late the next day, it doesn't matter. It's about striking while the iron's hot with things like that. I hope that helps. And like I say, seriously, I'm a man of my word. I'm telling people to make things happen. I'm telling you guys to ask for opportunity. I'm telling you guys to ask questions. If you want me on your podcast or I can help you with anything, I'm there. Just give me a shout.
Winter, you've heard it. You better reach out to him if you want to get Adam on your podcast. So, Adam, we're fast approaching the end of our live masterclass. What would you like to leave our audience with today? What message would you like to leave them with?
Guys, I would say thank you so much for tuning in. Seriously, I hope you have took something away from this session. Please remember you become a reflection of the 4 people you spend the most time with. And I always say in life, there's 3 types of people. People that make things happen, people that watch things happen, and people who think, what on earth just happened? Guys, seriously, it's not a dress rehearsal. Make things happen. Put yourself out there. Ask for help. Seriously, ask for help. And guys, please do feel free to get in touch with me on my social media and say hi. If there's any questions, any of you guys haven't got the opportunity to ask, or we've missed them on the link or whatever, we haven't had loads of time today, guys, drop me a DM. I reply to all my own messages. I'll answer your questions as best I can. If I can help you out, I will. So keep making things happen. Well done for tuning in today. I hope you get loads more out of the course. I'm sure Amos will look after you, and enjoy the rest of the speakers, the work experience, and the content. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, and thank you, Amos. Fantastic. Loved it.
Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show here today. It's been really great. You guys, if you've not had enough of Adam, tomorrow we've got some more videos for you, which Adam's kindly recorded for us. So, you know, make use of it. And I think if you follow the instructions that Adam's given you, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a job. You'll definitely make a mark anyway. So, you know, some great advice. And I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Adam, for taking the time in your busy schedule to sit here with us, have a chat, you know, inspire future leaders. There's so many people that are watching this that will be inspired, motivated by what you've had to share with us today. You know, don't be that person who just watches life pass by, you know, or the person who's just wondering what's just happened. Be the person that takes steps. You've heard it from Adam. Take actions. So from Adam and from myself, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you. Until next time, take care.